Hello, fans. I'm Shane Shatters, and welcome once again to Shane Shatters Presents Classic Indies, some of the great independent wrestling action from all over the world, unowned and unclaimed over the last 30 years. This one here, sometimes we like to bring you some outstanding matches. Last week we had, I thought, was an outstanding battle between the Cheetah Kid and Al Perez, and this week I think we're going to see maybe something a little bit different here. We're still at the University of Guam. It's still 1991, and we have a big, gigantic clash of wills, big men, as the 400 plus pound vicious Viking takes on none other than Cowboy Ron Bass, the outlaw Ron Bass, in action this week against the vicious Viking. And I'm going to share this match with you, everybody, because I think this is probably going to be a match that's something less than a classic. Compared to some of the other matches that we try to bring you the best of the action. The Vicious Viking was a guy who largely was booked and had his Nordic background examined and became the Viking. Unique during that era, unique gimmicks were very common and they were encouraged. So let's go ahead and go to the tape here. We're going to try to stick with this as long as we can. Hopefully this bears out. Again, the quality of some of the videotape here, borders. Now wait a minute, He-Man? This is the Viking. I don't know why they called him He-Man. There was a He-Man who looked like the Masters of the Universe guy. Very, again, a gimmicky type of thing. Hope we don't get busted on the music here. The music police have been shitting on us here pretty good here lately on the here at the Independent Rewind as our march towards 1,000 subscribers rolls on. We got to get to 1,000. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this, if you're not a member yet, you haven't become a subscriber. No, wait a minute, that is He-Man. I thought the Viking's down here at ringside. That's very clear. That the Viking is just hanging around with his, you never know what you're going to see here on the weekly basis. We largely, print and press play and go. So He-Man.
Maybe we'll actually get some good He-Man stuff.
We'll get some He-Man quality stuff as the Vicious Viking. Maybe they sit him down here by ringside so they could learn how to at least do things on a fundamental level in terms of inside the wrestling ring. You're not going to come.
Is that the cool spot? Walking down there, did you see that?
Yes, the 7-Up. Yeah. That was one of the sponsors of this tour. Yes, it was. They used to have those posters, I think, until either Rambo kept them or sold them. But they had like the tour posters and stuff from Guam, and 7-Up was one of the sponsors there for these tours. The 7-Up spot, making a cameo here on Classic Indies this week. He-Man trying to stir up the island of Guam fans who are participating. He's getting ready to take on one of the truly, in my opinion, one of the true tough guys and unheralded top quality interviews and wrestlers of his era, and Cowboy Ron Bass, also known as Outlaw Ron Bass, depending on what territory you saw him in. Ron Bass was an exceptionally hard-nosed, tough, in the mold of a Blackjack Mulligan, the old-time cowboy hard-ass type character. Frequently used the claw hold. Had probably his most notable part of his WWF run was when he used his spurs and cut open Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Also had something of a rivalry with the Junkyard Dog. Bass is wandering back to the back part of the building, as you can see by the lights behind the lighting there. This tour probably not as well attended as some of the previous ones.
You gotta wonder where they were at in their television at this time too, if they even know who He-Man is.
Yeah, I guess that's a possibility too. Yeah. Well, yeah. I heard that the #1 show there last year was Starsky and Hutch.
Wow.
No, I'm just dicking around. But you know what I mean. Into the corner. Bass isn't going to right away. Going right to it. A big old broad arm across the chest. Duck the elbow. He-Man drop kick. And again, the presence of the Viking remains puzzling down here in the bottom part of your screen. This is not a fan dressed up, as a Viking. This is a actual guy who wrestled on the tour, of which the stories are that I heard from Neil himself are somewhat legendary and almost exclusively comical. I'm not sure that if this is the He-Man there was a guy by the name of Randy Lewis who did He-Man, but again, the old footage is somewhat faded. I'm not so sure this isn't the Golden Phoenix still playing the role of He-Man on this tour. Golden Phoenix, of course, Mark Freer, he was from Baltimore. The clips are kind of, let's hope that we can get a little bit better here. We can hear the action in the background, and I apologize here. If this lasts but another couple seconds here on the black screen, we'll have to jump to something else. It's trying to fight its way out of the tracking hell. Well, geez. We thought it was the Viking. Ended up being He-Man. And now we're back. Let's see if we're going to hold on here. Bass is a little irritated, and the He-Man is riling up the crowd here. The Viking's still standing in the corner. He might as well have doubled as a ring post. Audience participation level here is pretty good. We can attribute that probably to the respective roles, especially Bass, who is, again, as I said, such an underrated talent. This one's real bad. Yeah, this one's real notable for its. While we have the clip here, He-Man with a headlock on Ron Bass, center of the ring here. Referee Dave the Wave out in front trying to check on it. Bass is certainly not going to concede the match. Whips him into the corner. Hard. Bass is a 325-pounder and just has no give. He-Man, 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 and Bass just teeing off on him. Irish whip. What's going on here? Another. Oh, look like he caught him with a right hand right to the face. Independent Rewind, bringing you the best and sometimes some of the not so best of wrestling action that you're seeing this week here from Guam, 1991, intermittently with probably some of the worst picture quality that we've had up to date here. He-Man. We originally thought it was the Viking. It wasn't the Viking. It was He-Man. Viking just is there. He doesn't appear to be rooting for anybody. He doesn't appear to be supporting anybody. He's standing there, and somewhere.
We got more emotion out of the 7 Up.
Yeah, we got a cameo from commercial celebrity 7 Up, the 7 Up Spot. Who maybe on the heels of Crash and Crunch.
I'm sure he got his own video game too.
He probably did. I'm betting you that was exciting. I bet you that was a good time. Bass grabbing a hold of He-Man, shooting him across the ring. Another vicious elbow. He-Man has not been in any way, shape, or form a physical challenge here in this matchup with the veteran Cowboy. I don't know if Bass is putting it on the. He moved out of the way of that elbow. He kind of taunted the Viking there for a minute, and I think the Viking might have actually responded. Shooting Bass off. Big drop kick. He-Man's going for it. Kind of lost in the lighting a little bit here between the quality of this videotape. A big elbow drop. The bright lights and the quality of this video. Maybe we're losing a little bit of what's going on. Bass back up to his feet with a clothesline that knocked him the whole way out.
Oh, now
now the lights are up. Now we know what the Viking is doing here. He just headbutted He-Man. which is a matchup that I'm
By the way, why would you take your helmet off the headbutt? Why don't you just headbutt in the helmet?
I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah.
So apparently the Viking is here on behalf of the Cowboy Ron Bass.
Kind of
And an elbow. That's it.
Wow.
That's it. A one-sided squash match, if you will.
Seems like they threw the Viking a bone there.
From what I understood, having to be on this tour and getting paid was probably him getting his bone. I don't know what we're going to do here for... Big victory for Bass here in convincing fashion on the big tour. He was, I think the following night, during season 2, we did that big match between him and Bam Bam. I think this was probably just Ron Bass getting the big victory to set him up for the following night's showdown with Bammer. What are we at, 7 or 8 minutes here this week? With Dave the Wave's trying to scrape He-Man up off the canvas here as the ring announcer. I don't think he was ever. I mean, he had a flash of fury there, but he was never probably really in this match. Right?
No.
Bass came out in a bad mood and finished it. And now he's back to his feet, trying to get whatever acceptance from the crowd that he can.
Grab that sword.
You grab your sword and just don't get arrested doing it. Well, all right. We're gonna wrap it up from this. We gotta. We're gonna come back to. U.S. shores, U.S. soil here next week with our next episode of Shane Shatters Presents Classic Eddies. We've been showing you a couple matchups from the island of Guam from 1991. We'll be back next week with some more action, probably more locally based, maybe something a little bit newer than what we've been doing. So stay tuned. Thank you. I'm Shane Shatters. See you next time.